What's up, everybody? We're back.
Hello.
We had to adjust to doing Tuesdays because the Eagles, the Raiders, and now the 49ers were all on Monday night. So we didn't want to really interfere because we didn't think anybody would tune in on Monday night because everybody was watching football. So we adjusted. We're here on Tuesday, but I think next week we're going to get back to Mondays. So we'll be back to normal next week. Vince, I'm just gonna start off with the Raiders,
Yeah,
because
please.
that's what the title of the show is.
Absolutely. Let's dig in.
So I'm sure everybody knows by now, Chip Kelly and the Raiders have parted ways. So, after the debacle of the Cleveland Browns game, couldn't move the ball, couldn't run the ball, couldn't do anything. Couldn't in the words of, Jim Mora, we couldn't do diddly poo. So 10 sacks, Vince.
Oof.
10 sacks, dude. The game was, when the Browns scored that first touchdown, I was like, that's it. It's game over. For the Raiders to have won, they needed to score first. And for whatever reason, like 7 points felt too daunting for this offense to overcome. Um, Me personally, I felt like you had to move on. And I know there's a lot of Raider fans that are unhappy with the firing of Chip Kelly because they thought that because the offensive line is so bad that it's hard to evaluate like what he could do. But like in my mind, the the offense, he was in complete control of the offense. And that's what that's what Pete Carroll said at his press conference today. Was that, he kinda let him do his own thing, and it just didn't work out. They couldn't get on the same page. When you I'm gonna jump around a little bit. It's not about one game. It's not just about the Browns. It's mini games. When you have and I've been screaming about this all year, Vince, all year about having Geno Smith in shotgun formation when your tackles can't block for that long. And then how the angle of the edge rush getting to Geno Smith, it's just the spacing. They're not going to be able to pass block for that long, especially in a shotgun formation where it takes longer for these plays to develop, for these guys to get downfield. It wasn't going to work. And you just kept doing the same thing over and over again. And you really didn't. The Raiders never even had not one bread and butter play that they could execute over and over again. It feels like every NFL team has like some type of run play or a pass play that, you know, 8 out of 10 times they're going to make that play work. Different formations, different things, but they did not have any bread and butter plays that this offense can execute. So me personally, I just felt like it was time to move on. There was zero creativity. There was, you know, and I get it. The offensive line stinks. But you gotta try something new, a different blocking scheme, change the playbook. Uh, "Hey, guys, what are the 5 plays, 10 plays that you wanna run?" And it just seems like they kept running the same plays, Vince, over and over and over again. Same pass play, same run play. "Up, didn't work that time. Let's" you know, they make a 15-yard completion to Jack Besh. "Oh, let's not go to that guy ever again." You know, it's like it was maddening. So I felt like you had to move on, and I definitely think if you watch the press conference with Max Crosby and Ashton Genty after the game, Max Crosby said it. We keep doing the same shit and expecting different results. And then Pete Carroll reincorporated that comment and said, we just keep doing the same thing and it's not really changing and it's not fair to the fans and it's not fair to the our guys. So we needed to make a change. So clearly Pete Carroll was not on the same page with Chip Kelly, and it just wasn't going to work. Um,
Yeah.
it just wasn't going to work. On the silly side, we talked about this in our text thread because we got Tyler's not on the show tonight. He unfortunately stuck in traffic, but he's an Eagles fan, and Chip Kelly, s Eagles. And then
Yep.
he did a stint with the 49ers and
Yep.
ran that franchise into the ground, and then he comes over to the Raiders and helps I mean, they're already in the ground, but he just drives it even further.
Mhm.
But the silver lining we were joking around about is, you fire Chip Kelly and the Eagles, Howie Roseman ascends, and the Eagles get a couple Super Bowls, and then you clear house the 49ers, and eventually you land on Kyle Shanahan and Jim Harbaugh, and things get a little better, right? So hopefully the silver lining is we hired Chip Kelly and it only took 11 games. We got rid of him, and maybe we start to rebound after that. Maybe that's the secret sauce we needed is just hire him and fire him. And now
Well,
we're off to the
also,
races.
each stint is shorter than the last as well. Because it was, I believe it was 2 seasons in Philly. It was only 1
I
season.
think it was 2 plus, right? He
It
got
was
fired
it
during
may
his
have
third
been
season.
yeah, yeah, it may have been into his 3rd season he got fired, but, yeah, yeah, he can, Tyler can correct us, if we're wrong on that one, but it was only 1 full season with the Niners,
Yeah.
before we cut him loose, and now, he didn't make it a full season with you, and he wasn't even the head coach either,
No.
so yeah, he may have been the highest paid offensive coordinator, but he was still a demotion in title, and then also didn't get the full season there. So I don't know. He keeps losing ground and then also losing time as a person with control. So and yeah, I don't know. Um,
I mean,
it is kind of yeah. I don't know.
As Raider fans, right? We knew from last season the offensive line had some work to do. They had a couple young guys, but we knew they needed work. Raiders front office, and this is on the front office too, but the front office was in Indianapolis at the scouting combine. Pete Carroll and Spy Tech, they all said, we actually really like the players on the offensive line. We saw some potential. We saw them getting better. And we feel with our coaching, with our philosophy, they can actually ascend. We didn't see that. They regressed. The offense regressed.
Mhm.
And that to me is where it's unacceptable. Where as soon as you started getting these guys into OTAs and then you get into training camp and you start getting a couple weeks of training camp and then into preseason, and Chip Kelly being the experience that he has, and this is on Pete Carroll, and this is on his son Brendan Carroll, the offensive line coach, to not recognize early in spring training, like, hey, these guys ain't getting it. These guys are you're the pros. You're supposed to be able to assess if these guys are going to be able to execute on the offensive line. You mean to tell me that they look like Hall of Famers in practice and communication is on point and everything is great, but then when you get into regular season, all of a sudden, like, no, that's nothing works like that. These issues are happening throughout, and they should have known what they had throughout offseason, training camp, and so on and so forth, and they didn't. So that's on all of them. That's John Spytek. That's the top down. That's on them for fielding this offensive line because we, as Raider fans, we knew they needed to address the offensive line, and when they kind of did, you burn two third round draft picks, and they don't get no play. The season was over in October, and now where I'm at, now that Chip Kelly's fired and the special teams coordinator is fired, the season, the 25 Raiders season is gone. It's done. Um, Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Everybody who's on the roster right now is now auditioning for the 26 Raiders. And if you're, with all due respect, to Tyler Lockett, Landon Roberts, anybody who's on these 1-year deals, you're probably not coming back. I don't think they've done enough to say like, "Hey, I deserve another a 2-year deal or another 1-year deal." I don't think they've done it. I don't think anybody's done enough to come back, to be honest. If you let Robert Spillane, Trayvon Moreg, if you let some of your free agents walk who were much more productive, you let them walk because the claim was, hey, they were good players, but it was still a 4-win team. Well, this is a 2-win team. These guys are contributing to a 2-win team. Why bring them back? Um, so for me, it's why aren't you letting you burned a second round draft pick on Jack Besh. You burned 2 third-round picks on offensive linemen. And I get it. One guy came from William and Mary, a smaller school. So, he may not be ready because it is a smaller school. It wasn't against premier talent. But Caleb Rogers he's like a 5-year, he's like a 5-year college player or 6-year college player because of the COVID year. So he got an extra year and blah, blah, blah. So he's played a lot of college football games. That's the one guy in the draft that should be able to step in, and you should I don't want to say easily and quickly, but you should be able to assess, is this guy going to be a dude for us going forward? Because you need to find out now. You need to find out, is Jack Besh going to be a number 2 guy or number 3 guy or number 1 guy? You need to find out. So you really got to start playing these younger guys. There's no point in playing Tyler Lockett at wide receiver when you have 2 young wide receivers and even Trey Tucker, who I'll say is a younger wide receiver. Like, there's no point in playing these guys because a win, I get it. You want to play for pride. You want to play for your teammates. And I'm not asking those players to tank. I'm not asking them to give up games or take a knee. And if you got an opportunity to score a game-winning touchdown and just take a knee at the goal line, I'm not asking them to do that. But there's no point in playing those certain veterans that are not going to be here. There's no
Absolutely.
point. There's no point. There's seriously no point. Right now it's audition season. You need to assess who's going to be a 26 Raider. And like, honestly, Vince, you got Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, maybe AJ Cole, the punter, maybe Colton Miller, the tackle. And I know he's been dealing with injuries the past few years, but you got 3 to 5 guys that are like locks at a position and that would probably start on other NFL teams. Like, outside of that, no other player on this roster do I really see. No one on the offensive line. No one on the you got an offensive line of backups. And the fascination with Alex Kappa that this offense had, that the whole year, Vince, we heard Meredith is the best center on the roster. And then, okay, JPJ gets hurt, but then you move Meredith to guard and put, you know, Putnam at center, and you don't assess the third round pick. And then you bench him, and then Meredith gets hurt. So you put Putnam back, and then you put Alex Kappa, who's just awful, back at center, in at center, who in the post game interview, the reporters asked Alex Kappa, when did you last play center? And he was like, when I was a rookie in the NFL in preseason. So this guy is not even a center. So it's just very frustrating. And last week I was asking myself this, right? Where do we go from here? I still don't know because there's no identity. There's no direction. Are we building for the future or are we trying to win now? Like, to me, I think Spytek wants to play the young guys, but I think he was trying to be acquiesce a little bit to Pete and get some veteran guys in here, and it just didn't work. And I don't I don't know if Pete comes back next year. I could in one scenario, I could see him coming back with some big changes that we're going to play young guys, we're going to build the roster, and you're going to try to compete, but we're not going to have a whole lot of veterans. We're going to turn this roster over. We're going to see a bunch of young guys. And I don't know if he wants to do that. So it might be that's the direction we're going. We would love to have you, but if you're not on board, then this is where you exit the bus. And so I'm 50-50, man, because I really like Pete. I really like Pete Carroll. I really like how he speaks. I really like the messaging. And maybe there's a little bit of member berries in there of what he did with Seattle and what he did with USC, but it's just a rudderless ship right now. And the Raider Nation they're impatient. It's been 23, 24 years since this team has been a consistent winner, and that Super Bowl year, man, when they lost to Tampa Bay, that's a long time ago. I mean, when I go on Reddit, when I hear other radio shows and I listen to other podcasts and I hear people talking, there's people they've never seen the Raiders good. They've never seen the Raiders go to the playoffs back to back. They've never seen Rich Gannon play. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like that's where we're at, man. And this is seriously like I was telling a coworker today, this is a bad miracle. This is a bad miracle on how bad the Raiders franchise has been for decades. Decades, Vince, that they've been historically bad. And when 49er fans and other fans that I talk to, they tell me, "I feel bad for you, bro. I feel bad for you as a Raider fan." Like,
Mhm.
and they're like, it's not even funny anymore.
It's not. Yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
like
like,
you're on Arizona Cardinals territory right now, man.
dude,
Like
it's
you're in Tennessee
the
Titans
Raiders,
territory.
Raiders, Brown, but like
Browns,
that's where
Bengals,
you're
like
at. That's
yeah,
where you're at. I mean, at least now the Bengals, you got Joe Burrow. I know there's injury stuff,
yeah,
but you got the wide receivers. Like there's something to hold on to. The Browns, you got Myles Garrett. There's something to hold on to.
yeah,
Feel like outside of Max Crosby,
yeah,
so I don't know where we go. I'm still at a loss of where do you go? Um And I'm looking at it too, how long is it gonna take to get the quarterback in, to get the offensive lineman in, to get wide receivers in, to keep the defense going? I mean, how long is it gonna take to really flip this thing around? You're talking another 2 to 3 years? I'm speculating, right? By that time, in 2 to 3 years, Matt Crosby could be on the decline, and he's going into, year 10, 11, 12,
yeah,
it might be time to replace him. And then what if Brock Bowers says, he's coming up on the end of his rookie contract and he's like,
yeah,
fuck this. And then you got Genty the year after where I think the talent is there. It's everything around him fell Genty. And, you know, he says, no, fuck this. I'm out. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
If you
it's
don't
just
have a
been
quarterback and
historical
a
things,
coach,
historical failure.
yeah,
And I don't know, man. I know that's a long vent, but it's it's a sailboat and there's no wind. And there's no oar, there's there's nothing to paddle. I mean, it is I don't know where you go. I mean, and I know there's been teams that have flipped it around and turned it around very quickly. I think now, like, there's really no point, unless Pete Carroll's coming back, there's no point to play Geno Smith. Like, there's no point, why risk him getting hurt? because this is not gonna be your offensive coordinator. So there's really no point to play a lot of the veteran guys.
You brought back
Um,
Greg Olson, right?
well, he was the quarterbacks coach, and now he's promoted to the OC play caller, which
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, actually, I was hoping they were gonna promote the tight ends coach because there's rumors that he could be a offensive coordinator. So a lot of people compare him to the path of what Ben Johnson. Obviously, he needs to prove it, but the offensive coordinator with Detroit was fired, and Ben Johnson was the tight ends coach. And
Yeah.
then he took over, and he brought a new wrinkle to the game, and the offense improved in a
Mhm.
a year that was going nowhere. And then he gets
Yeah.
the full time job, and then so on and so forth, right? A lot of people compare. I'm blanking on his name right now, but a lot of people compare that coach to that trajectory that he's very creative. Um, so oh man, it's just a
Hold a second.
my my computer did something funny.
Yeah, you froze a little bit there, bud.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you've
I
frozen with a very high funny look, dude. It's pretty fun. Uh,
That's hilarious. That's
uh,
hilarious. Well,
oh,
why don't let me I'll wrap up real can hear me. I'm that's my
yeah,
spiel on the Raiders is that it's rough. And just like
yeah,
my screen, it's gone dark in Raiderland. My screen is black. So something's going on with my computer.
yeah.
The failures of the Raiders has spread like a virus into my computer. So I'll turn it over to you
Okay.
to talk about Monday Night Football. I'm gonna hop off and then
Yeah.
hop back on.
Okay, sounds good. So, the 49ers get the job done, albeit in a very interesting manner on Monday Night Football. They get the win 20-9 against the Carolina Panthers. Brock Purdy had 3 interceptions in the first half. He was as Coach Shanahan said, he was a little late. They were the right decisions, but he was just a little late, so the timing was off. Which is something you like to hear. He's sticking up for Brock. He's people are trying to ask if there's a little bit of a controversy or whatever. I guess the press is trying to like needle him for it, and it's just not happening. Definitely not for Mac Jones. Mac Jones, as I said before, he performed admirably, but he has his limitations, and he's going to net the 49ers a nice draft pick in a trade in the offseason, possibly to Minnesota or or somebody like that, because JJ McCarthy looks like he's on his way out with the concussion right now, in concussion protocol that they just put him in today, apparently. So, as for the game itself, Christian McCaffrey to the rescue. Huge day for him. We love to see that. We hold our breath. We get a little nervous every time he touches the ball. But because exciting things happen, but also you get a little scared for the injuries that could maybe happen. They haven't yet to this point, but that's because he's kind of sucked the energy force out of everybody else on the team. I think that's where the injuries are happening with everybody else except him. He's just taking the life force out of everybody else at this point. I think that's what happened. Okay, he's a necromancer. That's what's happened here. Christian McCaffrey is a necromancer. Uh, that's the new theory that I'm operating under. Anyway, at so that's that was good to see. I enjoyed getting the W. They're 8-4. They're sitting in the playoffs as we speak. They're half a game clear of the Lions. They've got the Browns coming up this week. They're going to Cleveland. The offense needs to perform better. Brock needs to find that timing. It's going to be a little cold in Cleveland, I imagine. I was a little nervous for this game because of weather reasons at the beginning of the year when we were going over the schedule. This is one that I said this could be a problem because of weather reasons. I haven't looked at the weather report for Cleveland per se yet, but that that's Miles Garrett is playing out of his mind. I think he has something like 18 sacks in the last 11 games or something like
Yeah.
that. Like that, I think that's the
Just
stat that I heard. He's just out of his mind, going crazy, man. So that makes me nervous. They're gonna have to devote some extra resources to make sure that he, is bottled up as much as you can bottle him up, right? That is good. And they were gonna have to, playing Carolina. They were lucky that Carolina's offense was, reverted back to normal after what they did to Atlanta. I was like, oh, maybe they actually got something figured out, but no, it's just Atlanta's hot and cold. They went really cold, is what happened. Their defense. And Carolina was able to take advantage, and then they just didn't show up really. Ted McMillan was the only touchdown for Carolina, and that, I mean, for our fantasy league, that helped me. That brought me close to 200 points, which is our record for the season, for points in the game. So that's cool. Appreciate that. Thanks for that. Thanks to Jameer Gibbs as well for that 60 burger. Appreciate that. Yeah, but that's I liked what I see from the defense. The young guys stepping up where they can. I mean, obviously, a lot of inexperience there. I didn't like Juwan Johnson getting punched in the nards by your former defensive back. Didn't like
former,
that.
former.
Yeah, he's getting a 1 game suspension for that. So
Yeah, that was shady, man. That
yeah,
was
that was not cool. I'm glad Juwan didn't was. I'm glad there were teammates around to help keep him from retaliating too much and getting a 1 game suspension the other way as well. Ricky Pearsall, this is the second game, his second game back as well. Same with Brock. This is his second game in a row where we didn't see much from Ricky. Uh, I'm at the same point I am where I was last year. I need to see something from Ricky, man. Give me something, flash me something, man. I need to see it. I need a hit, man. I need something. Just flash, man. Just give me a taste. Give me something. Um, because we've seen it. We've seen the flashes here and there. But I need something. I need him to like just kind of go off. I need a big game from him coming up. And I know coming back from an injury is not the easiest thing to do, but I need him to just have a big game at some point. Otherwise, you're start that we're looking really really thin at wide receiver, especially with the news that I'm about to get into.
yeah.
So with that being said, I think it's time to just dive into it. So we're gonna switch gears here, and we're gonna talk about the Brandon Ayuk stuff. So apparently this happened back in July, but it's just breaking news this past week. So Brandon Ayuk has likely played his last game for the 49ers after the team voided his remaining guaranteed money, which is approximately 85 million over the next 3 seasons. Uh, well, his full contract is 85 million over the next 3 seasons. For missing meetings and other team activities. Quote, failure to fulfill contractual obligations was the term used by the team when doing so. Ayuk told the NFL Players Association he does not want to fight the move by the team. So that is clearing the path for a trade or a release with zero dead cap money at the end of this season. He tore his ACL, MCL, and meniscus during the October 20th game last season versus Kansas City and underwent surgery in mid-November. They needed a few weeks for that knee to stop swelling before they went in and did the surgery. He signed this original contract 4 years, 120 million with 76 million in guaranteed money just before the season started in 2024. That saga included near trades to Cleveland and New England, but Ayuk rejected those by indicating he would not sign extensions there. A deal with Pittsburgh for second and third round picks was very nearly completed before Ayuk agreed to stay in San Francisco. When he verbally agreed to stay, Shanahan basically hauled ass up to like up to the GM's room and said, "Hey, don't make the trade, don't make the trade," because John Lynch was like minutes away from completing that deal. Like that deal was almost done. It was like he was about to hit go on that email. So that was we almost had a second and a third round pick instead. That was almost done. But now we're gonna have it was there was talk, was it gonna be Debo or was it gonna be Ayuk? You know,
It's both.
about a season and a half ago, like, before the 2024
Yeah.
season, which one is it going to be? Which player are we going to have? The answer is neither, apparently, at this point, because Debo ends up getting traded before this season, and Ayuk is gone because he didn't he didn't really want to be here. He ended up signing that contract because he didn't really want to go anywhere else either. Apparently, I mean, and this was the best of bad options for him because nobody else wanted him either. Apparently, but he's about to be a free agent, so he can go find somewhere else to play. That's fine, whatever.
It's
It's not
absolutely
going to cost.
wild that he's not gonna fight it. He's just like, "All right."
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't.
That's
Yeah, he didn't
wild,
want to
dude.
fight it. He doesn't want to fight for 76 million in guaranteed money. Are you kidding me? I might be fighting it a little bit, but you know what? That's fine. Uh,
So that
uh,
to me tells me
yeah.
that whatever he did or
Mhm.
didn't do to honor the contract, like, was clear and blatant that, like, even if you challenge it, you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
And maybe, like this happened in July
Mhm.
and it's now being reported, clearly both sides didn't want it out,
Yeah.
like Ayuk didn't want it out. And then if you
Yeah.
challenge it, it's gonna leak. At some point, it's gonna leak what happened at some
Yeah.
point.
I think it finally just leaked, and
So,
I'm actually impressed. It took if this happened in July and it's just now leaking in November. That's 4 months. You know what? And
but we don't
uh,
know exactly what happened that led to
to
void
this
the
information,
guarantees.
yeah, exactly. So we don't know
The
that detail. We
information's
just
coming out,
know.
but we don't know that detail.
Exactly.
Right.
So
So,
this this organization has proved since Kyle and John Lynch have taken over that they know how to run a tight ship and they know how to keep keep stuff from getting out that they don't want to get out for a long time, up to and including their own hiring, you know. So that this tells me that they felt like it was time to let this information out of the bag, at least that he's not going to be coming back this season, you know, and that he's probably he's fair game for to be traded for or to he'll end up being cut probably if nobody wants him. If somebody wants to try to jump the line and give us like a sixth or a seventh round pick for him or something, or you know, fine
yeah.
by me, fine by any them. I'm sure, like this might even just be part of the negotiating tactic to see if anybody wants to try to jump the line and try to trade for him. And now that there's no guaranteed money on the contract, I'm sure a lot more teams are going to be willing to trade to make this trade, and the Niners aren't going to be quite as nice about trying to find
The
comfortable landing
landing
spots for
spot.
him too.
Yeah.
They were trying to like really work with him and find a place that he'd be comfortable with signing extensions and stuff. No, now it's just like screw you, find who's going to give us the best return, at this point. Like, so if he ends up in Tennessee, so be it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe the Raiders want him, you know?
No thanks. No thanks.
No, I know you say
Especially
no thanks,
especially
but
like not I mean, you're coming off of injury. I'm cool,
yeah.
if I remember correctly, it's a leg injury?
Yeah, it's a knee
Yeah,
injury. It
so
was he did the full alphabet. He did the ACL, the MCL, and the meniscus.
yeah, I'm good. Wish him the best, but I'll pass. It's just and then you don't know what he did to get this contract
Oh,
canceled. So
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
I would like
No,
to know.
yeah, I'm sure they're willing to give that information to the right people,
Right.
but they're not gonna just give it to anybody. They're not telling me. They're not telling you, you know? Um, because we'll blab that away, no problem. I'm telling that to everybody if I find out. But yeah, so this is obviously huge news in Niner land, and you know what? I'm just glad that the sick black jerseys that they were coming out with. I'm glad I bought a Fred Warner one, and not a Brandon Ayuk one. Yeah, so that's gonna be good. That makes me feel good that there's a resolution. This was something that was driving me fucking bonkers. I mean, we talked about it for weeks and weeks when this was going on a year and a half ago, and now that this injury, like we were wondering, hey, maybe he's coming back. We're wondering what's taking so long. Apparently, what's taking so long is he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to play, and the team is kind of not interested in having him play, I guess, at this point either. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So you know what? Fine by me. Fine by everybody. You know what? It's probably better if he's not interested in playing with the team anymore. He doesn't want to be here. It's probably best that he's not. That he's not around, and that's fine. It's just better. If somebody's not interested and they do try to play, that's how injuries happen. Missed assignments, uh,
Yeah.
somebody not paying attention. Uh, that Steve Young's career ended because of a missed assignment.
Right.
And I'm not saying Lawrence Phillips missed that block on purpose or anything. I'm just saying if you're not paying attention to details, bad things happen. So and if he's not in the details, in the weeds, especially in a complex offense like Kyle Shanahan's. If you screw something up, bad things happen. So
Yeah.
so it's
I'm
just better he's
wondering,
not here.
this is speculation, but I'm wondering, as you said that knee is totally shredded. Is he starting to, doubt himself and not putting as much into the recovery, and he's not the same player, and he's not, you're not challenging this decision and you're losing all that money. Does he even want to play anymore?
Yeah, that's
Right?
that's another good
So,
question. I don't know. He's gonna have to do some workouts,
yeah.
not at the 49ers facility, but
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
well, I mean, he's still technically a 49er right now. He could do stuff at the Niners team
That's the
facility.
weird situation, is
And it
because
sounds like
they voided
he
the guarantees, but he's still a
yeah,
49er, and
yeah,
in theory, he could still play if he's
yeah,
cleared. Like,
yeah, and I think the
that's what's crazy.
guarantees are now converted to like
Performance
incentives now
bonuses or
or
something.
performance, yeah, and stuff like that. So like he could still get a huge chunk of this money, but yeah, the guarantees are all gone. Like they're all
That's
zeroed
crazy,
out.
man.
So this is wild. So yeah, I'm just we're gonna see how this goes. And the 49ers just cleared up I believe the scientific term is a metric fuck ton of cap room next season. So yeah, with that being said, I think it's time we switch gears and I switch hats to basketball. Okay,
All right.
we're doing it, man. All right, throw that Niners hat back there. Okay. All right, so a couple of just NBA notes in general before we talk specific Warriors stuff. Chris Paul announced that he's going to retire at the end of the season. Former Warriors great.
Yeah.
um, yeah, for one season. At least one star is triggering the farewell tour. Stares at LeBron. um, so obviously Hall of Famer. He's on the Clippers right now. uh JJ Redick had a fun little quote about this. He said, like he wishes him all the best, but he hopes Chris Paul doesn't get a championship because that means the Clippers get a championship. And he's obviously the head coach of the Lakers right now. JJ Redick is. And JJ was a former Clipper as well. So that's kind of, a fun little extra hot sauce thrown onto this
Yeah.
little discussion as well. But yeah, obviously Hall of Fame, like gonna be a Hall of Famer once he, is eligible to be inducted into that. He was named to the, 75, greatest in the 75th anniversary team, all that stuff. Yeah, he's a Warrior for that 1 year. Spent a lot of time on the Clippers, made those runs with that team. The He started off with the Hornets, I believe, right? So
Yep.
yeah, so yeah, that was, and then he's been bouncing around the last few years. Yeah, so congratulations on a hell of a career, and now he gets the farewell tour, and so everybody gets to give him all the shower him with the gifts and stuff. And I wonder what the Warriors are gonna give him. Maybe some roller skates or something for when Steph broke his ankles. No, they'll do something really classy. That's something that we as fans would give him, is something like that. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we talk about Warriors specific is Warriors tangential stuff. Is Klay Thompson and John Morant. That
Ah,
beef got sparked again, man. Uh, uh uh Ja decided to run his mouth post game. He said, "Tell him who the best shooter in the house was. It wasn't bro from Golden State when Dallas and Memphis had their game a couple of nights ago." He was crashing his teammate Cam Spencer's interview to take that cheap shot. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of things real quick. Uh, John Morant is currently 26 years old. Clay, at age 26, had a championship, two finals appearances, an Olympic gold medal, most points scored in a quarter, and was the second best player on a 73-9 team. Ja is gonna be lucky to be in the league in 8 years, which is the current age Clay is right now, 8 years older than
right.
Ja. Since Clay tore his Achilles after tearing his ACL, Clay has played in more NBA games than John Morant, and that stat is from Tom Haberstroh, by the way. So just gonna throw that out there. So some of it is injury, and others of it is suspension stuff. But Clay has been on the court more often since tearing his ACL and his Achilles.
Right. Missing what, a year and a half, 2 seasons or
Two
something?
seasons. It was
Right.
971 days or whatever the hell it was. It was like 2.5
Right.
years since that happened.
Right.
And so Ja is running his mouth because he had a nice day at the office. He put in a good shift. Okay. And so he decides now is the time to run his mouth. Meanwhile, Clay gets to go home and hold the hips of Megan the Stallion. Okay. Um, so who's really winning? Meanwhile, Clay's got 4 rings, and you got bounced in the playoffs every year and going no further than the second round. So maybe going to the gym and work a little harder, dude. Feel good about your good day at the office. Be like, yeah, I had a good day, and then go work some more. God damn.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling that, he has all the John Morant has all the talent in the world, but, Clay got it right. There's like nothing of intellectual value coming from this person,
Absolutely.
and Clay said that too. Like, he's got all the talent in the world, um, but the dedication to win, to put it, to put in the work, it ain't there. And his actions speak louder than words. You see it. I mean, that's all that we could say.
How many times have we on our fun little show have we talked about John Morant doing something stupid? You know,
Yeah. One too many
dozens.
times.
Yeah, more times than we can possibly count. So,
Absolutely.
this is just him doing something stupid, trying to hype himself up. Again, he picked the wrong one, dude. Come on, get serious. Be so fucking for real right now.
Vince, when this happened, I was hopping around as it was happening. I was on Reddit, just kind of poking around all kinds of different sports stuff, and their own fans were like, "Man, I'm so sick and tired of John Murray." Because everybody, you recognize the on court talent, the actual ability, but it's everything off the court that wears people out, and it's if it's hard, he's hard to root for now. He's like really hard to cheer for that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it, man. Ooh, ooh boy.
That's all I got. Let's go to
Yeah,
Warriors.
okay, so let's talk about Warriors specific stuff now, man, because that's a lot more fun, even though it wasn't that fun for most of this week. So they lost 3 straight. They lost at Orlando on Tuesday. Uh that one they lost by 8. There was Curry had 34 and Butler had 33 in that game. This is the Warriors' 5th back to back because they had a game they lost in Miami the next night, uh 110-96. And in that game, you didn't have Curry, Butler, Green, or Horford. So Pajemski was your top scorer with 20 points and 8 rebounds in that one. But that's their 5th back to back. Houston hasn't had one of those yet to that point in the season. I still haven't looked to see if they have it yet. So the schedule maker's not doing us any favors, but also you can only play the schedule you were given, man. So uh, don't love it, but it is what it is. You got to do it. Uh, yeah. So then after that, you come home, and then on Friday night you lose big versus Portland, and then Jimmy Butler said, "We're just not guarding nobody." Curry had 38 points. Butler chipped in 20 and 8 rebounds, but yeah, defensively they didn't. They stopped nobody. I believe there was a great poet, a great warrior poet in Lithuania that said they sucked at defense. So, but then yesterday versus Utah, you get the win. So no Green or Horford in that game though. Um, Curry had 31 points. Gary Payton II had a career high 8 assists in that game. I wanted to call him out for that one. Your current standings are 10 wins, 9 losses. I have 8th in the West. I think that's right. It might be 7th. Let me double check that real quick. But yeah, you're like in the playing tournament right now. Yeah, 8th is where you're at. You're 8th in the West right now, as it stands. So just upcoming games. You're playing Houston on Wednesday, and then you got the Pelicans on Saturday. So, Houston, that's going to be a big game. Kevin Durant is on that team, obviously. Uh, Houston is currently sitting 4th in the standings. The Pelicans are sitting 15th in the standings. So, you better get at least a split. I'd love to see us beat the Rockets as well, and you go 2-0 over the next 2 games. Hopefully they were just resting up this past week, and we get the good Warriors, because this team is obviously they're a very up and down team. They're they're the definition of 500, right? They keep, you win a few games and you lose a few games and you're right back at 500. That's kind of what happened. They were 9-6 when we were talking last week, and then if we were talking yesterday, they would have been 9-9 before this Utah game happened. So
I mean, that's just kind of how they've been. They've just been kind
yeah,
of kind of
since the
boring.
championship, since the 2022 championship, really that's where they're at. They're a little bit better than 500.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna probably. I do think they'll get on a little bit of a tear and get better. And I still think Kaminga gets traded. I still think he gets traded because you're he's so inconsistent. And I know the first week of the season he looked really great and we were really excited. And then the next week he was a little inconsistent, and then he had to miss a couple games. And it just seems like that's the way that the Golden State Warriors and Kaminga dance routine is going to
Yeah,
go. Um, so
yeah.
I just think they're gonna trade him.
Yeah, he's missed the last 6 games. The Houston game he's going to miss. That'll be 7 in a row. Kerr sounds optimistic that a return is imminent, according to Nick Friedel. So that's he's a reporter for the Athletic. So
Yeah,
it's
just
not, he's at
I heard
practice,
this
so it's
I heard this
close.
the other day
He's
where
close.
yeah, but I mean, I just think
What
now
happens?
the franchise, the team, the player, they're all in this weird relationship, and it's not really working for anyone because the Warriors will win a couple of games and you don't really need them. And then you need them when you just need instant offense and a guy that could get to the hoop. And when you need them, you need them to turn it on and be instant offense, and it doesn't always work like that, you know? So I just think that with the age of the Warriors, you're probably looking at shipping Kaminga and probably some other guys out to find role players that fit with Curry. I think that's the thing is for the most part, not every single one, but for the most part, the better teammates supporting cast that Curry and company has had is with veteran guys. And maybe it's because they could put ego aside and basketball first, where like Kaminga, and this is not a knock against Kaminga or younger players, but they want to make a name for themselves. They want to become a superstar in their own right. And there's a lot of money and advertising and to be the face of a franchise. I get it. These guys are ultra competitors, and that's what they're training to do. I just think it's not going to work for this team. And we said this at the beginning of the year. If Kaminga takes that step and he's clearly a legit superstar and that step happens, then you can ride those coattails and you're like, "Oh crap, like we got a guy that is going to lead this franchise into the future." And but it just doesn't seem like that. It just doesn't seem like it's going to work out, and that he's probably your best option is get him healthy. Hopefully he flashes in a couple games and he gets you a return.
Yeah.
I just don't see it working out.
Yeah. Draymond Green is questionable for Wednesday's game against Houston as well. Although he's trending upward, is the report from Kerr. He's listed as questionable, but he's trending upward. He had a foot sprain in the Portland game. And obviously he sat out the game against Utah because of that injury. But yeah, he's trending upward. He's listed as questionable, but he's trending, so he might play. And it'd be good to have him, uh, you know, all hands on deck for a team that's, 11-4 and could you know beat you pretty soundly right now. You know, that's a
Yeah.
it's a it's a scary team right now. So, oh man, okay. Um, so like I said, and then after that, the New Orleans Pelicans on Saturday. Both of those games are at home in Chase Center. So, bring it, bring the noise, fans, if you're going to the game. That's going to be pretty exciting. Let's time to switch gears to the Valkyries. We actually do have some WNBA news. That's right. I got the WNBA hat. Toss the Warriors hat back there. The draft lottery happened on Sunday, excuse me, and Dallas once again secured the number one overall pick. This year, there's not really a clear cut choice for number one overall pick, though, so it's kind of interesting. Um, there's like 4 or 5 different names possibly being thrown around right now, up to and including Paige Becker's girlfriend, AZ Fudd. So maybe there's a little reunion there. Oh,
Oh
could be
wow.
fun, could be cute, could be fun, a fun little storyline happening there as well. The So we're gonna see what happens come April. Also, there's a lockout looming, so kind of beyond, like that's looming over everything as well. So and they're not really close, it sounds like, either. They're very, very far apart in the discussions there. um the Valkyries are going to be selecting 8th out of 15. The way it shook out was, you have the Wings, you have Minnesota, then you have Seattle, then you have Washington, and then Chicago are your top 5. Then you have your 2 expansion teams, Portland and Toronto. Um, They haven't determined yet which team will be picking, either 6 or 7. I think they'll be doing a coin flip for those, and then it'll be Golden State Valkyries in 8. And the reason Minnesota is drafting 2, and the reason that's because those are from trades, so that's how they snuck in there, is through all that stuff. You know how that works.
Yeah.
We all understand, the machinations through that. So that's your draft update. There's one other note here. Veronica Burton was named to the Team USA training camp roster, and Coach Natalie Nakasi has been named one of the court coaches. So that's great news for Valkyries fans. So a couple of familiar faces. They named 18 players to the Team USA roster. They'll be obviously only 12 get to make, like, the final roster for the FIBA World Champions. So basically right now she's on the radar is what happened here. And that's great news. We love to see that. So being on the radar, that ain't nothing, and we talked about that with other players in other sports, that especially sports that we'll be talking about shortly. But that's it's exciting news, and we're happy to see it. And congrats to both Veronica Burton and Coach Natalie Nakasi. So, all right, so let's talk hockey. It's hockey talk. There we are. All right, now our hats match. Okay. So fun fact about the Sharks. Last season, they had 20 wins in 82 games. This season, in 23 games, they have 11 wins. At the quarter mark of the season, they had 10 wins in 21 games. So they were halfway there in only a quarter of the games. So you like that pace. Basically, you're on pace to double your win total is where you're at right now. So that's we like that. Yaroslav Iskarov in November, 7-1, 955 save percentage in his in November 8 games. He was 1 win, 4 losses, and 1 overtime loss, 884 save percentage in October. So a little bit of a rough start. We called that out, but he got settled down, and he settled down quick, right? That 955 save percentage, like, that jumps off the screen, and when you watch him play, and he's like making incredible saves. It's just like it eye-popping saves. Like, he steals games. He's stealing games, right? Like, this is what you traded for. This is what you hope for. Barry Trotz, the GM in Nashville, looks like a silly goose right now for giving him up, doesn't he? Okay, so let's talk about the games that happened over this past week. On Tuesday, Vince picked the win of the week to be Utah, and in overtime, Celebrini made him look like a goddamn genius with the hat trick, including the OT winner. Fun fact, according to NHL Stats Department, only Jordan Stahl in February 2007 and Patrick Lane in October 2016 had scored hat tricks that included OT winners as teenagers before Celebrini joined them on Tuesday. Also in that game, Celebrini was the 4th teenager to hit 30 points in 20 games or fewer. The other 3, these are guys you might have heard of. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Sid Crosby. Wayne Gretzky did it twice because he was a teenager for 2 seasons. That's some elite fucking company for our boy Celebrini. In that same game, Will Smith had 2 assists in that game, and Askarov had 24 out of 26 saves. It's a 926 save percentage, so a little bit below the mark. What a bum. No. Then on Thursday, that was your win of the week call, Sam. In the shootout, they get the win 4-3, making you look like a damn genius. Kurashov had the shootout winning goal. The goals during the run of play, he had Gaudet, Delandria, and Kurashov. Celebrini, Smith, Orlov, Delandria, and Graf had 2 assists. Askarov had all but 3 saves, 31 for 34. They did lose on Saturday versus Ottawa. Nobody had that for win of the week. But Klingberg and Goodrow got on the board. You
That
lose
one got away from them, man.
that
They
one
had a
got
really good chance,
yeah,
and it
yeah, it
it
just
slipped through the fingers.
yeah. Ah. Um Askarov only allowed one in though, 34 of
Yeah.
35. It was oh no, I'm sorry, that was Nedeljkovic, 24 of 27, 889 save percentage. So he looked pretty good though. I jumped ahead. The 34 of 35 was Askarov on Sunday versus Boston, which Tyler had a win of the week, making him look like a goddamn genius. Okay. Mukmadolin, Celebrini, and Graf tossed in an empty netter as well. Celebrini, Toffoli, Eklund, Ferraro, and Goodrow, and Orlov all had assists as well. So the standings are heading into yesterday, because I didn't update the standings though. 11, 9, and 3, 25 points. They're fifth and in the Pacific, just outside of the playoffs in ninth as of yesterday. I didn't update for today's standings, but that's okay. So win of the week didn't matter because all three of us picked different games and all three of us were right. So the whole idea of win of the week when we started it a couple of years ago was we assumed the team was going to be bad and we were trying to find something to try to entertain us and keep us locked in. I think this might be the last year we do win of the week, man, because
We're gonna look too
we're
smart.
locked in no matter what. This is getting too easy. I think this is going to be the last year we do win of the week. Because this is the whole point was when they were bad to try to pick some
Find out
try try to try
the
to pick the
one win.
one. Yeah, exactly. So this is this is this is fun. Okay, that's the point. The long story short is this is fun. And if we don't need to do win of the week starting next season, so be it. But we're still doing it this season. Upcoming games: you're at Colorado on Wednesday, you're hosting Vancouver on Friday, and then you're at Vegas on Saturday. So you got a back to back there. What game do you want?
Hmm. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Man, Colorado's really good.
Yeah, they've
Really good.
been they've
They
been
have
lights out. I'm staying away from the Colorado game. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing Colorado.
So that leaves the
What's
back to back.
crazy on the plus minus stats, Colorado has the top 5 spots. They lead the league in plus minus for 5 players.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah. They are.
insane.
Yeah, Nathan McKinnon leads the planet in scoring right now. Celebrini is like right there, like doing amazing. But like it's just it. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's in McKinnon's in God mode right now. He
yeah,
is
exactly.
playing
Yeah.
really good. So it's definitely staying away from Colorado.
I'm just not brave enough. I'm not brave enough to do it right now. If they do it, it is no pants o'clock. I'm never going back to the like I don't need pants for the rest of my life. No.
You know what, man? I got to take Vancouver at the Shark Tank. I got to take the home game.
Yeah, you take the home game on the front end of the back to back. That's kind of where
Yeah.
I was leaning
Yep.
to. I'll take the coward's way out as well with you.
Okay.
If Tyler wants to be brave and take Vegas or Colorado, he can do that. Or he can
But
join
the
us,
but the
and
Sharks didn't they beat Utah last week?
they did.
They did. So I mean Monday,
Yeah,
there's also Monday against Utah, and I mean this team is a lot of fun to watch,
yeah,
but the thing they're getting better. And there's a lot of talent. We got to go to the Barracuda game, Tyler and I. So we got to see some of the younger guys down there. And the first thing that we noticed, because we go to a couple Barracuda game a year, from the games we went to last year, Vince, the
mhm.
speed of this Barracuda team versus last year, this team is much faster. This team
Good.
is like
I love
way
that.
better.
Yeah,
Um, so if we could get a couple of those guys up, and I know it takes time for them to transition to the bigs, to the big leagues,
yeah, yeah.
to the pros, but I'm very excited where Mike Greer and the Sharks are headed. Obviously, having Macklin Celebrini as your number one overall pick. I mean, he's a franchise changer, um, and he's only getting better. I mean, to do what he's doing as a teenager, and most of these guys that go number one overall, like Sidney Crosby, they don't really change the franchise until they're in year 3, 4, and 5, and we're seeing it a little bit sooner with the Sharks, and I think that's some of the talent around them. That's,
Yep.
the Will Smith and Eklund and, some of the other guys that are, Oscarov. There's a lot of guys that are improving. Clearly, Macklin Celebrini's the Curry of the
Yeah.
Sharks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's okay. But, when the Warriors were at the peak of their powers, everybody loved Curry, but there was the Clay people and the Draymond people and the
Mhm.
Curry people, and then you had the people that just loved the bench, the strength in numbers bench. That was just a lot of fun, and they
Your
had
Sean
their fans,
Livingston, your Sean Livingston fans and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. 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 Totally.
So, I really just enjoy this team, and they're getting better, and I I don't wanna get too far ahead of myself. Just keep me interested this season. But it's next year, Mike Greer, go all in. Get the top defenseman. Get a couple of the top defensemen because I feel like that's the thing that this team is really missing is a solid defensive presence on the team. The goalies are better. The goaltending is much better. It's just the defense in front of them
Mhm.
that seems like it's a little bit lacking at times,
Yeah.
but they're getting better. They're still a very young team. And I know there's some guys that could get traded and get you a return, but I'm liking these guys, man. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of hoping that maybe we sneak in. I know it's a year ahead, but I'm kind of hoping we just get into the dance just to see it, just to say we did it.
I'm telling you what. I need I need a head count for Warsaw's kids because I'm starting to think he might have actually sacrificed one of those kids to get that win because they're since he said that they were 0 wins, 4 losses, and 2 overtime losses. Uh, they're 11-5 and one overtime loss. So since then, so that's a bit of a heater since then that happened. So I need a head count.
I mean,
I need a head count.
if you played 500 the first 6 games, like, you're, like, 2nd, 3rd in the division.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right there. So, I'm kinda hoping that they just continue to improve, and I would love to see this team. I know it's a year ahead of what we predicted because we didn't really have them in the playoffs. We thought they were gonna be 500, kinda lurking, and so far that's holding true. They're lurking. They're right there. But now I'm kinda, like, getting greedy, and I'm like, "I would like to see this team sneak in." Like,
Yeah.
just I just wanna see it. It's been so long since we got to see the playoffs, and, I'm just really excited to see where this team is going and keep me interested. That's the number one thing. They're super fun to watch, and, this team's got me, man. They like every game I watch the pregame, the postgame. I
Yeah.
read every article I can, because it's just ultra fun to watch, man.
And we got a new tradition has begun now too. When you get your player of the game tarps off and you get the shark tooth necklace
And
thanks to Ryan
that's
Reeves.
from Ryan Reeves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ryan
so
Reeves. It was supposed to be here at the beginning of the season, but there was a problem with shipping, I believe. So they were using like sunscreen bottles or whatever the hell was around before then. But it finally arrived, and so now and it arrived just in time for the Macklin Hattie hat trick game. So there you
so
go.
good.
That's the rules. Tarps off. You put the shark tooth necklace on, and away you go. Yeah. So with that, I think that's a full lid on the show. I think you want to take us out, bud.
I don't have it in front of me, so I'll just go
Yeah.
impromptu. If
Yeah. Just
you
wing it.
Like, subscribe to us on YouTube. Uh,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
on
we're feeling ourselves a little bit about the Chip Kelly firing. I did put we do have a new post on Instagram, so check that out.
All right. So yeah, we got a post on Instagram. Sneak into our DMs, interact with the show, comment, like, subscribe. We're available on all your streamers, and obviously for video, we're here on YouTube. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week. Have a good night,
FJF.
everybody.
Good night.